Good morning. It's the 20th of April. We are Signal Centre Talking Bull. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined this morning by Jamie Pakenham-Walsh. Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
Morning, Joe. Yeah, not too bad, thanks. A bit early this morning, but ready to get stuck in some charts.
Good stuff. That's good to hear. So Steve should be joining us shortly. In the meantime, we will crack on and get through the latest headlines and what's impacting the markets over the last 24 hours or so. So straight up into the headlines, markets still banking on a 0.5% May Fed rate hike. The Chicago Fed president yesterday, Evans, stated that the central bank needs to be mindful of a wage price spiral and needs to monitor for it. He also added that there is great cause for concern if the inflation rate accelerated. He did express some hopes that inflation pressures could be changing, but also commented that his expectation is that rates will need to rise above the neutral rate of around 2.5%. Markets remain convinced that the Fed will lift rates by 0.5% to 1% at the May meeting. The yields continue to rise as well. The 10-year increased further over the past 24 hours with a peak above 2.97%, which is the highest level since late 2018 as markets continue to fret over inflation pressures. The Bank of Japan has capped yields. In contrast, the Bank of Japan again intervened in money markets to cap domestic yields after the 10-year yield hit 0.25%. Overall, yield spreads maintain pressure on the yen, which surged again to a fresh 20-year high above the 129.40 level before a sharp correction, edging ever closer to that 130. The polls for the French election continue to provide a bit of a boost to the incumbent Emmanuel Macron. The latest opinion polls for the second round of the French presidential elections this weekend indicated that Macron would win 56.5% as he continues to build a strong lead ahead of the National Front leader Le Pen. Euro is expected to see some relief if we do see a Macron win. Fighting has also continued to intensify in Ukraine. The conflict in the East Ukraine has intensified as Russian forces gradually step up their attacks on the Donbass. There is additional pressures from or for Western countries to provide additional weapons to Ukraine. Oil and gas prices have retreated, which has limited potential to impact the market. Geopolitical developments will still be under very close scrutiny, with particular focus on Russian rhetoric. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
So yeah, let's get stuck into some charts. Don't want to throw you straight into action, Steve.
But you will.
But I will, yeah.
That's fine, mate.
Yeah, some tasty moves in some of the commodity markets yesterday, from what I saw. So maybe you can shed a bit of light on that for us on the charts.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the daily chart, we can see exactly what happened. We had the Monday very indecisive day. We had a rejection of the 50% Fibonacci retracement level, so that was a sign that the advance was stalling that we saw over the previous past 3 days, and then we saw a full retracement. So this is an evening doji star formation. There's the it's a 3-candle formation. There's the doji in the middle. Sometimes you get an evening shooting star, which is a little bit more powerful, but it's still a pretty damning move for oil. Price action moved down, got down to 101.38 on WTI crude oil, and it got down to 106.26 on the Brent crude oil. And we've seen a little bit of a correction overnight, but this doesn't bode well either. If we're looking at it from a hourly candle, let's get rid of this. Let's clean it up a bit so it looks a bit clearer. There is signs of a head and shoulders formation, which could be quite a classic pattern to really finish off this oil move. So I guess what I'm going to do for gun to head trade idea today. Yeah, that's a good level to fade into the move. Volume's dropping off as we're rallying as well, so why not? So if we delete that, we could also say this is the signs of a bearish flag. Again, another classic formation. Ideally, you'd wait for a break of this neckline on the Brent crude oil, 106. 106.25, 106.27, a break and a close below there on a significant time frame, maybe an hourly or a 4 hourly, depending on your risk strategy, then this could be a nice little trade to watch today. Further downside in oil potential. On gold, we've seen that breakdown also. We saw the support broken at 1960. And the move has continued overnight. No real sign of it showing, although we've stalled ever so slightly at 1940, which was the low from the 8th of April hourly candle at 6 o'clock. We can see that previously around about these levels we have had, let's jump to the daily chart, it's a bit clearer on there. We've had it's quite a significant area we're moving into, this area between 19, say, well, I suppose if you take the bottom there, it's 1890 to 95 up to around about 1945. There'll be definite support and two-way price action around here. But yeah, the shooting star from Monday was confirmed yesterday, so almost like an evening shooting star formation. You saw no prices from Good Friday, obviously, because the market was shut. So that would add up to an evening star formation and playing out really nicely. So further downside, I expect this to at least test the 1915 to 1920 level, if not further. Our cryptocurrency moved basically higher yesterday. Nice, the engulfing candle, or the outside bullish outside candle from Monday, didn't stall where I was hoping for it to stall, around about this 41,500 level. That was the sort of like previous swing highs of the 13th or 14th, the week before, and it's continued higher, although it has pulled back to that level. So still the bulls unable to push this significantly higher. And again, you could sort of almost point to the potential for a bearish flag formation further downside there. But we have seen, if you look at overall, there's a bigger channel here. We've seen higher lows, and again higher lows being posted. So still a little bit of hope for Bitcoin as it's sitting right now, 41,500. And yeah, nice couple of days. Price action has supported it. I think that's me. I'm nice and short, I am.
Yeah, we got some nice comments, not on our trading view profile yesterday. If you ever try and sell a cryptocurrency, you just get
exactly.
Who do you think you are? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Obviously, no context in the
I don't mind,
the
mate.
comments. You know, we've explained on our video. Obviously, there's no reference to that on the page, but yeah. If you ever want to get the backs up of someone or get some engagement, positive or negative, sell a cryptocurrency. We're only messing around here.
Made me change my mind now. I might actually change it from selling oil to selling crypto again. It's going to zero. There you go.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, the numbers might go up anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at FX then, shall we? Let's start with the dollar index. It continues to look very strong overall. That's not the chart I wanted. This is the one. It's the daily chart. So trading above the upper end of this bullish channel, which I've had drawn on the chart for what feels like ages. More strength yesterday, approaching the next resistance level here at 101.40, which is an 88.6% Fibonacci retracement. Above that, we're looking for a retest of these highs that were posted at the height of the pandemic in March 2020 at 102.98. So still looking pretty positive on that front. If we take a look at euro US dollar, a bit of a bounce today, up by 0.2% as things stand. Still, depressed levels overall. I imagine that there'll be some watching and waiting for the result of the French election. This is going to have a fairly significant impact. It looks like Macron is going to be successful in holding on, and therefore we may see a little bit of euro relief. The longer that story builds, the more chance there is that it's actually going to start pricing that in. So we probably need to see a bounce quite soon because it looks like he is ahead by a reasonable majority as things stand. So overall, still looks pretty bearish. Still expecting lower prices, but there is the potential there for some short covering at some point. If we take a look at cable, that continues to hug this major support line that is forming around 1.3000. As we can see here, we've seen a number of attempts at trying to close below that level, but so far it's been unsuccessful, and the bulls are defending it. Again, potentially a candidate for a short covering move at some point, given how depressed this is overall. I guess what everybody's looking at the moment is these yen currencies, because we are seeing some huge weakness really in Japanese yen, and there is threat of them obviously starting to intervene. The 130 level is what we've got highlighted on the chart here as where the finance minister of Japan said they would be thinking about intervening, and we are very close to that now, getting very close indeed. We did see highs yesterday of around 129.35, but we've seen a bit of a retreat overnight, down by around about a 0.25% as things stand. But that is off the back of 13 up days in a row, so it may only be a brief stall before another move to the upside. Doesn't appear to be anything slowing that down as things stand at the minute. And if we just have a quick flick through some of the others, this is Aussie versus the yen making new highs, as we can see. Swiss franc versus Japanese yen up at highs. Euro versus yen up at new highs. A little bit of stalling as things stand at the minute, but nothing appears to be slowing this down at this moment in time. So it looks as though we're going to continue to see more weakness in the yen for now. If we flick over now to the indices, it continues to be a bit of a mixed bag, really. FTSE 100 still trading below resistance at 76.78. The candles that we've formed over the last couple of sessions don't really offer anything, just more indecision in front of this resistance level. So there is the potential for a bit of a move lower. If we take a look at the DAX, that is a similar situation, just nothing really going on. These candles, very narrow ranges and not really going anywhere. We're not seeing any sort of reversals in either direction. So it looks as though we are set to, I think, continue moving lower in line with the sort of more medium-term trend. Take a look at the S&P 500. Yesterday, we saw a decent up move on that. Still some potential maybe for an inverse head and shoulders forming on these US indices. Which is on the reverse side of what you were talking about with oil, really, Steve. Maybe there's a bit of a correlation there in some of these markets. Potential for that, very speculative at this stage. I wouldn't get excited unless we broke above 46.39 really on the S&P 500, but that may be something to consider. And if we take a look at Netflix, it's a similar situation here. This is one I had drawn on yesterday. It's found some support at the 61.8% fib level, but there was some evidence yesterday that the latest round of earnings season may not be too great, and Jamie will come on to that shortly when he talks about Netflix, because they had numbers out yesterday. And I won't look at the charts, but what I will look at is the numbers themselves. Actually, this is our corporate calendar. So we can see Netflix posted numbers after the market closed yesterday, and they were actually ahead of the forecast. The forecast was for earnings per share of $3.03. It actually came in at $3.53. So a decent beat there on the numbers. A surprise of 17% on the earnings per share number, and ahead of the forecast, as we can see there highlighted on the chart. But this is obviously what we're interested in. This white line here is the price. So I'm not going to steal Jamie's thunder on that. I'm going to hand it over to you, Jamie, and you can talk us through what happened there, and maybe look at some of the after hours price action on that too.
Nice one. Thank you, Joe. I tell you what, we'll start there at Netflix because you're right. There was some. I thought I had it ready, but apparently I don't. Let's get it up. Yeah. So obviously Netflix came out with the earnings there, as we just saw. Still haven't managed to put it up. I'm lucky.
NF, yeah, that's it.
There we go. Right, here we are. So this chart doesn't show the after hours trading, but this is kind of what Netflix was doing previously. Had a really nice run up through kind of 2020, did well during the pandemic, relatively speaking. Then we had this, which is actually the last earnings back in January, where I think that's about a 20% drop. Yeah, we're looking at about 20. There you go, about 20%. And it was kind of just drifting post that, nothing really too crazy. It was at this key support level at 330. But when we drill into the intraday chart, we can see what actually happened after hours. And we had a drop from, what have we got there? About 350, 348, all the way down to 258. And I think the main reason for this was people sharing accounts and sharing passwords, and it led to a big drop in the amount of subscribers that Netflix
Jamie,
have.
is that what you younger generation do?
Can't confirm or deny it.
They said they reckon 100 million users are not paying for it in their
100 million.
update. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's
how many are paying for it? That's more important, isn't it?
yeah.
Not
I
enough
mean, it
people.
was not enough according to the stock price. I mean, we're down 25% in that 4-hour candle. So we'll see how Netflix gets on today, but clearly a very rough day.
Well, they talked about adding adverts as well.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be a
did
lighter
see that.
version.
Maybe it's the adverts that done that to the price.
People don't want the
Definitely
advert.
switched me off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty rough day for Netflix. And to be honest, not dissimilarly, if we go over to Disney, not quite as bad, but they had a bad earnings. I'm not actually sure. Haven't drilled in on the report yet, but you can just see the price it closed not half as bad actually, but still not ideal. I've got this what was a support level drawn out here for Disney. You can kind of see it's a bit of a descending triangle pattern, and that's already after a steep sell-off. So I like this as a continuation of the trend, and now we've had that break lower. We'll see how it opens up today. We have had a break lower. And I'd be looking for that potentially to continue. And as a kind of a measured move we use for triangle patterns, you kind of take about 2/3. It's a bit rough. I don't love it. Take about 2/3 of the triangle pattern, which is probably a bit less than that. You extrapolate it out. Let's have a look if we've got any good targets. I mean, from price action, I think the next real target could be this 120 level of support we've got here. I think that's probably where it's like to head next if it does keep heading lower. Last thing we'll do, we usually start with the biggest gains and losers, but I wanted to show off Netflix being the loser. This is Checkmate Pharmaceuticals, and it was, I think, had an all-cash buyout by Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, if I'm not mistaken, and that led to a very happy 320.
Jamie, we've lost you.
Your sound's gone.
He's back.
Is he back?
No. No, he's not. He's still talking. Maybe he can't hear us either.
Yeah. He's stopped.
Oh no.
All right, I think he's done.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Abrupt
to
end.
show. I wanted to show this. Looking at Netflix, there's some exchanges that trade after hours. This one is FTX. It's like a crypto exchange, and you can see sort of like the hourly chart, and you can see what the price is trading now. So around about 262. Yeah, so that is tradable during the day as well, Joe. Look at that. You can just
Who's that with? I don't want to be advertising your brokers.
no, it's a crypto exchange.
Oh right, okay.
If you type
Netflix
in
versus
Netflix,
you.
yeah, Netflix
Oh,
against
right.
US dollar, crypto FTX.
I see all the crypto exchanges are offering it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, definitely something to watch,
So
especially
does that
if you've
match the
got
price
exposure.
that, for instance, on the also sessions price on IG?
Potentially
Trading at 258.90, down 25%.
not far away, 262, mate. So
Okay.
a little bit of a premium there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a decent indication, sort of like yeah, 24 hours. We haven't got any time to rest or have a little break from this. We've got to be on it like a carp on it.
Does it trade over the weekend as well? I know it's all that flat price in there. I guess is the weekend, isn't it? I don't want to be
Yeah,
trading
but I
weekend,
suppose
surely.
why not? Why not?
Need a
Otherwise,
break, mate.
you just got jobs to do. It looks
Yeah.
like it is trading. So that's really interesting. Any news that comes out over the weekend, are the actual algos watching it? Are they trading on this exchange, or are they waiting for that sort of like Monday morning and it's already too late, son. So yes, very, very interesting. But yeah, I don't really like the fact we've got to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No.
But well, Jamie does.
Yeah. You back in the room,
Yeah.
Jamie?
I
He's here,
think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to move on because we are up against it time-wise today. So we're going to talk about the Gun to the Head challenge now. This is something we participate in every day. We each pick a trade idea live on the video, and each idea must have a stop and a target. All the ideas are placed at market, and they're published to our TradingView profile. So if anybody wants to check those out, they're more than welcome to. The way we operate this is that we put the ideas on now, and the ideas will expire at 9 p.m. UK time, or when the stop or the target is hit, and we maintain the performance spreadsheet to keep track of how we've done on our calls. The way we do this from a risk management perspective as well, in order to come up with the performance, is we base it on risking 1% of a hypothetical £1,000 account per trade. We've been doing this nearly for 600 episodes, so we've got a fair amount of trade data here of ideas that we've picked live on these streams. Yesterday didn't go so well for Steve and I, who were looking at cryptocurrencies on the short side, Litecoin and Bitcoin, both of which were stopped out. Jamie providing the only ray of light with a small win on New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese yen. So bit of red on the screen, as you can see there in the last few trades, but we did have a bumper few sessions prior to that. So all in all, we're still doing all right overall. So let's go again, gents. Who fancies going first today?
I'll go first.
Go on then, Steve.
I'm going to sell oil on the back of what I was talking about. We've seen this potential bearish flag, also potential head and shoulders. I'm preempting it. I would rather wait for the break of the neckline, but there's a gun to my head, so I've got to make the trade idea decision now. I'm going to have about 100 $1 stop, 100 pips, 100 points, whatever you want to call it, $1. Selling it at 103.33, stop at 104.33, targeting 99.83. It's a 3.5 to 1 risk reward. That's
Good man.
it.
Good luck.
Very nice.
I'm going to take a look at NASDAQ actually, because we maybe highlighted the fact that there's a bit of correlation between these, the price of oil and some of these indices. There was maybe some inverse head and shoulders forming on the US market. So I was looking at this on the daily setup initially. So it looks to me as though the NASDAQ has found some support at this 61.8% fib level. We're seeing a bit of a bounce. It's got a fair amount of work to do before it completes that pattern. And before we can get overly excited, it really needs to break above kind of 15,300 before we can say that we've got a bottom in place. But when I zoom into the hourly charts, I can maybe see another head and shoulders pattern forming here, maybe, or some sort of bottom taking shape. So I'm going to try and buy that today. It is against the trend, it would seem, at the minute, but let's have a go anyway. I'm going to buy it at 14,110, stop loss at 13,990, and I'm going to target a move up to there. Actually, that would do 14,426. 6.26 R is what I'm looking for on NASDAQ today, and I'll get that published as well to the account. Over to you, Jamie.
Very nice. Thank you, Joe. There's not a lot I love today, I'll be honest, but we're gonna have a crack at selling the euro against the pound. We broke through this key support area. We have retested it in kind of a form of a flag type formation, but obviously I'd like to see a break of the the downside of the flag to see that pattern confirmed. But we're gonna have a crack at selling it at this level because I have got a gun to my head. So we will sell I can't see. I need to get my eyes tested again, I'll tell you that. 83.10, 0.8310, and we'll take profit at 0.8213. Let's tidy that up. And the stop's going to be at 0.8325 for a nice 5.91 risk reward. Sorry if I didn't say that particularly clearly, but I'll be posting my idea in a sec so you can take a look on our TradingView channel for those.
Wicked. Well done, mate. Okay, there's 3 trade ideas to set you up for Wednesday. Obviously, bear in mind that we have come up with these pretty quickly on the fly with the gun to our head, and risk management is very key on all of these. They've obviously all got stop losses, and we're looking for big rewards for the risks that we're potentially taking on these trades. So let's look for the day ahead and what we can expect in terms of volatility. Today we've got Canadian consumer prices due at 1:30 UK time. After that, at 3:30 UK time, we've got the US EIA crude oil inventory numbers. So if you are following Steve on his trade today, do be aware that those numbers are out later, and there could therefore be some volatility with oil. Anything else to add, gents, before we wrap this up for the day?
No, all good, thanks.
Oh,
Shall
good.
we have a quick look at anything that's reporting? See if there's any big names in there. Just got the calendar up now. We've got Procter & Gamble. No big tech names by the looks of things from what I can see. Alcoa, big obviously commodities firm based in steel, pretty much everything. Aluminium mainly. A fair amount of companies reporting today, but from what I can see, Tesla. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's after market close today. So we are expecting $1.9 in terms of the earnings per share forecast. So keep an eye out for that number after hours today. And obviously we will dissect that in the morning video tomorrow.
Lovely.
Cool.
Great. Okay. Well, have a good day, everybody. We will be back, as I say, tomorrow morning. And until then, trade safe.
Cheers.
Goodbye.